Folks, America is in decline when it can't even coup Bolivia anymore. You were talking about losing your fastball as a nation. I mean, cooing Bolivia, that's the easy one. Donald Trump just issued a statement. If this were me, we'd have cooed Bolivia. I could coup Bolivia in 5 minutes. Under Joe Biden, you can't even coup Bolivia anymore. Things are a mess. This country's gone to hell. The country's gone to hell. Bolivia coup attempt. Go ahead.
When I get into office, pretty soon we're going to have casinos in Bolivia like in the old days in Cuba.
Yeah, exactly. Bolivia coup attempt fails after military assault on presidential palace. Bolivian armed forces pulled back from the presidential palace in La Paz on Wednesday evening, and after a general was arrested after President Luis Arce slammed a coup attempt against the government and called for international support. Earlier in the day, military units led by General Juan Jose Zuniga, recently stripped of his military command, had gathered in the Central Plaza Murillo Square, home to the presidential palace and Congress. A Reuters witness saw an armored vehicle ram a door of the presidential palace and soldiers rush in. Today, the country is facing an attempted coup d'etat. Today, the country faces once again, interests so that democracy in Bolivia is cut short, Arce said in comments from the presidential palace with armed soldiers outside. The Bolivian people are summoned today. We need the Bolivian people to organize and mobilize against the coup d'etat in favor of democracy. A few hours later, a Reuters witness saw soldiers withdraw from the square and police take control of the plaza. Bolivian authorities arrested Zuniga and took him away, though their destination was unclear. Inside the presidential palace, Arce swore in Jose Wilson Sanchez as the military commander, Zuniga's former role. He called for calm and order to be restored. I order that all personnel mobilized on the streets return to their units, Sanchez said. We entreat that the blood of our soldiers not be spilled. The United States said it was closely monitoring the situation and urged calm and restraint. They expressed regret. This coup failed so quickly, we didn't even have time to arm the rebels. We didn't even have time to arm them. They couldn't even last 3 hours. If it went on a day or two, perhaps we could have given you some funding, but no communication. Tensions have been building.
Kissinger is in hell critiquing this attempt. In my day, when we wanted to do a coup, we did a coup.
Well, yeah, it's funny you mentioned that. I forget who said it. There was somebody said, some CIA guy, or maybe it was John Bolton, I forget who it was. But in reference to January 6th, they even said something to the effect of like, yeah, I've done a lot of coups and this looks just like that. It's like they would admit that they would orchestrate this kind of thing all the time. Tensions have been...
do I miss the Dulles brothers?
Yeah, right. Exactly. The old school, right? The old guard. Yeah. They could have pulled this off. Tensions have been building in Bolivia ahead of the general elections in 2025, with leftist ex-president Evo Morales, who was couped for a time by the United States, who claimed baselessly that he did not legitimately win his election, even though he did, planning to run against former ally Arce, creating a major rift in the ruling Socialist Party and wider political uncertainty. Many do not want a return of Morales, who governed from 2006 to 2019 when he was ousted amid widespread protests and replaced by an interim conservative government. Arce then won election in 2020. Okay, here's the thing. Zuniga said recently that Morales should not be able to return as president and threatened to block him if he attempted to, which led Arce to remove Zuniga from his post. So this general was removed from his post for threats against the former president and future candidate. And then, obviously, the day after that, he tried to coup them. Ahead of the attack on the presidential palace, Zuniga had addressed reporters in the square and cited growing anger in the landlocked country, which has been battling an economic slump with depleted central bank reserves and pressure on the Boliviano currency as gas exports have dried up. The three chiefs of the armed forces have come to express our dismay, Zuniga told a local TV station, calling for a new cabinet of ministers. Stop destroying, stop impoverishing our country, stop humiliating our army, he said in full uniform, flanked by soldiers, insisting the action being taken was supported by the public. Morales, head of the ruling MAS Socialist Party, said his supporters would mobilize in support of democracy. We will not allow the armed forces to violate democracy and intimidate people, Morales said. Bolivia's public prosecutor's office said it would launch a criminal investigation against Zuniga and others involved in the attempted coup. Public support for ARSA and Bolivia's democracy has poured in from regional leaders and beyond. We express the strongest condemnation of the attempted coup d'etat in Bolivia, our total support and support for President Luis Alberto Arce Catacora, Mexican President AMLO, Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador, said on X. Even conservative political opponents of the government in Bolivia condemned the military action, including ex-president Janine Áñez, who was imprisoned in 2022 amid political turmoil. I fully reject the mobilization of the military in the Plaza Murillo attempting to destroy constitutional order, she wrote on X. The MAS with Arce and Evo must be got out through the vote. In 2025, we Bolivians will defend democracy. So even their political rivals did not appreciate that stunt. Here is Bolivia's foreign minister denouncing the coup attempt.
El Estado plurinacional de Bolivia denuncia ante la comunidad internacional las movilizaciones irregulares de algunas unidades del ejército boliviano que atentan contra la democracia, la paz y la seguridad del país. Hacemos un llamado a la comunidad internacional, a la población boliviana, a hacer respetar los valores democráticos y respaldar al gobierno del hermano presidente Luis Arce Catacora, constitucional y legítimo, elegido por la voluntad soberana del pueblo boliviano. La Paz, 26 de junio.
And here is the Gray Zone's Wyatt Reed shared this out video. Thousands of Bolivians are celebrating the defeat of today's coup attempt by singing the national anthem outside the presidential palace.
Todos los bolivianos que están en la Plaza Murillo entonan el himno a la patria. Siguen hoy en contraste armonioso, dulces himnos de paz y de unión.
Manuelo de los Santos says Bolivia crushed a fascist coup so fast the U.S. government didn't even have time to publicly back the military forces. Yes, which informs my little crack here. You know America's lost its touch when it can't even coup Bolivia anymore. It's a different world. It's a different world. We're falling apart. We're going to hell. We can't even coup Bolivia anymore. Did you ever think you'd live to see a day where America couldn't coup Bolivia? Didn't even last long enough for us to give them a boost.
Hey, we couldn't coup Venezuela.
That's right.
We tried to be like, hey, that guy, he's the president now because he says he's the president.
Right. Yeah. Yep.
That didn't work out very well either.
Multipolar world emerging. Things are different. What
was the last successful coup we had?
Yeah, when was the last successful coup
was
we
that,
had?
was that Ecuador? Is that Ecuador?
I mean, we did successfully replace Morales in Bolivia for a while, and then he was reinstated. But there was an interim government because the OAS deemed that his victory was illegitimate, which was really interesting because they used the same rationalization that Trump used to claim that the 2020 race was stolen from him, which was the fact that a bunch of votes came in the middle of the night from places that took long to report their numbers. That was the exact argument that Trump made to say, well, there must be something going on here. And I remember we validated that claim, not in Trump's case, but in their case. And so I forget exactly when that happened. I should have had that at my fingertips for this segment. But now that you mention it, we did get rid of him for a while, and then he came back. Yeah. Right. But yeah, when did we last actually do one? Because the Venezuela one we had worked on for a while.
We can't make puppet governments anymore.
Oh, yeah, well, Ukraine. There you go. I guess that's the...
Oh, yeah. Yeah. You know what, Charles? Ding, ding, ding. That's our bad. Our bad.
Yeah. Good call. And actually, now the Kenyan security forces have arrived in Haiti, so that might be
Yes.
on its way. That might
Yes.
be the next one on the list. Indeed.
Please clap.